Hey, hey, hey. This is Copy Who. I'm Paul, the producer. And I have a throat lozenge in my mouth. I'm gonna chew it up right now. Yeah. Yummy. I'm coming to you early today. Earlier than I ever have before. Because, there were just some things I wanted to do. Like I had to do my B-roll of my little owl shot here. Hello, you two. It's good to see you. Ah, yeah. Yeah, I am up early. You oh my. You need to... I shouldn't have chewed that thing up right now. That's a learning experience. Uh-oh. Come back here real quick. You two, I'm waking you up early today because I got some things to do and I had to make B-roll for you guys so that there was no continuity issue, and I'm even admitting I'm deceiving you guys as this plays out, and I mix the stuff here. Oh my. Yes, very thirsty. Had to start out taking a drink, really? I have a few things planned and they're kind of cool. Just over here really quick. I brightened up that background and I moved the TV a wee bit closer. And I don't know that it's enough, but it might help a little bit. I have to remember when I'm doing this that sometimes these details, even though they're huge sitting to me, I'm looking at it right here very close up. I think this could be a 60-inch TV in this position and it would work just fine with this format, so I eventually might upgrade that. And so I moved it closer so that it's a little bit bigger. Don't forget, when I started out 2 months ago, this was a 50-inch TV, and I brought it back to Best Buy, that 50-inch TV, and I came home with this 55-inch. Probably should eventually have a 60 or 65-inch here to have it just perfectly big for the viewer and stuff, so that even little details are easily discerned. But anyway, I digress. I have several things planned today on the agenda. I'm actually going to show you really fast. Let me just cut this music out really quickly here. I'm going to show you really fast what I have. I actually put up over here and over here. I'm sorry. This is it's a learning experience, and I know that it has to be this way for now. Here what I have is the picture of the channel for Copy Who on YouTube, and I just want to show you what I put up here really quick. Eventually, actually, I'm going to get this... never mind. So I have shorts here I put up, but up down here is what's interesting. Yesterday, I republished some things that I put up there way back in the day. So this says, back in the day, marijuana radio, okay? And so what that is a bunch of stuff I did like as much as 15 years ago. And I want to zoom out enough to get over here with that. And then I'm actually going to play some of this right now, because this was what I did back in the day.
Come on, let's get high, everybody.
And so this, what's going on here, man? YouTube is glitching. Oh, no, it's not. It's me. User error. So what this was, these guys were a band back in my studio that I built downtown, and they were called Zebra Junction, and I had them play for me a couple times. Another time they came to play with some people, and I did some amazing recordings, which I've lost track of. I think I can find the radio show recording, but I had individual audio cut out for those that were just beautiful sounding, and I was so proud to have done that. So these guys came on Halloween and they performed this song, which was a song by Tommy Chong. Right? Back in the day, it was Tommy Chong. What is it called? What's the name of this song?
Up in smoke.
Up in Smoke.
That's where my money goes.
Money goes. And I've played this on the guitar before too. I really miss these days. So just to put this in perspective, this is 15 years ago. And if you understand the history of this, it cuts to a crowd where it's like, you see McKenna, who became the host of this show. And we were kind of like her sidekicks, but I called her the host. And so she's in the crowd here, and you see all kinds of people from the marijuana industry in this crowd who were pivotal back in the day, including Miguel Lopez, who ran the 420 rally for many years before all the politics kind of got him shoved out. And I even thought about, back in the day, I thought about making a play to get the 420 rally before he even did, because I thought, oh, it would be really good for my show. But I was already so overwhelmed with everything I was doing that I was like, no, I don't think that would be advisable. But this was a wonderful experience, and for me, there's a lot of nostalgia in this.
That's right.
And so you see people in here like, see that lady Summer? There's McKenna right there in the background. It's hard to see her because the lighting, you know. I really miss these days. And so this is like a historical, I think that might be Dr. Malamede back there. It's moving around too quickly. This chick Summer, who I always thought she was kind of hot.
Take it away, Micah. We're going to do that one more time. You guys
And
keep
there's
singing.
this comedian Roger Norquist, who was cast out for various reasons I won't get into. I won't re-air that dirty laundry, but, you know, silliness. He was talented, though. I want to tell people to come back to this page over here, because I'm not going to play this whole thing right now, but it's a special time in history for me. I posted all these things. You can see what I was up to 10 and 15 years ago. Tommy Chong talks about Bill Maher on Marijuana Radio. Tommy Chong clips of him being in the studio. Another radio show I did with these guys, Relate and Insaniac, called The Circle Radio, and we had a green chili cook-off. There's one of my friend Mark, who's Relate, who's on The Circle Radio. We took a trip up to a glassblower in Fort Collins, and I made a what do you call it, of that? A video of that experience. And so there's one of another Halloween special we did called Evil Marijuana, where you smoke this marijuana and you become a zombie. So those are worth checking out. It just gives you a perspective of what I did in the past, and they're kind of very rough. It's where the tech was in those days. So a lot of those are maybe like 480 pixels. Right now you're watching something in 1080. It has the possibility of being viewed in 1080 on, gosh, I'm blind here. Window. Come on now, man. It has the possibility of being viewed in 1080, but I'm going to move on from this and say, check out the site here, or no, not the site, the channel on YouTube. It's at copywhotv. Or no, not .com. Just youtube.com/at copywhotv. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on to something else, which comes next. What did I have? Oh, it's a batch of then and now. Okay? These are always fun. I thought this was interesting last night when I came across this, so that's what I want to do, and I'll zoom in on this really quick. And of course, here's Dolly Parton, and I'm always shocked as usual to see people aging, aging. So she was a fine lady, and I think she's made a lot of beautiful music over the years. Of course, that's her and Little Whorehouse in Texas. Look at that. I can tell you that I looked at that picture when I was much younger to get some kind of pleasure out of it, if you know what I mean. Let me just try something really quick. I'm zoomed in on this now. I want to try boop. Oh, yeah, boop. And come back in and out like that. Okay, I learned a key stroke on the keyboard, and it's going to make this a little easier and faster for me. But look how different she looked when she was young. And that's like very, I don't want to use the word to describe how that looks, but she really grew into her beauty, this lady. And over here, she's wearing the mask of shame. I just, like, what a bummer. That's the bummer of that one. But let's move on to a next one here. Oh, by the way, she did a song called the Whitney Houston song, I Will Always Love You. And I don't like the Whitney Houston version, but the version Dolly Parton did is so moving. It like can bring a tear to my eye, and that's how good it is. And that lady's filthy rich, and when Whitney Houston did her song, I bet you she got some big-ass checks, and I bet she still gets some big-ass checks to this day. But she's actually quite old. It doesn't say how old she is on here, although it's birthdays. It shows birthdays. I don't see Dolly Parton on there anywhere. But anyway, let's move on. I don't know who this guy is, so we're just going to keep going. Oh, I'm so glad. It's this. It's right here. So she is the lady who played Peggy on what do you call it? Married with Children. Why am I forgetting? Kelly Sagal. And so I've always been astonished by her beauty. I can't stand how she's all white trashed up over here smoking the cigarette. But when she was younger, look at this stunning beauty she had. What a fox she was. And what I've always praised about her is even when she got older, she maintained her beauty like exceptionally well. And I've always thought she's a beautiful woman. And I always felt like when I heard her talking that she had a lot of old soul wisdom. You know what I mean? And she used to have the right attitude about Married with Children, that if you didn't like that show because it was crass and over the top, like those characters are such shitty people, if you don't like it, you can turn it off. And I've always liked that about the United States. Make what you want, but it's not quite like that these days. It's more, everything is more controversial these days. Oh, there's like so this page I followed on Greater Days on Instagram, the thing that bugs me about it is they have these then and now things, and then you like flick to the next one and it's like a dude standing there and you see his naked ass, and I'm like, I don't want to see a dude's naked ass. But so hopefully it's not a naked ass. Let's see. Okay, Kelly, you go. And I don't know who that is necessarily, but I will point out one thing about this man here, okay? Jawline. Look at that jawline right there, and compare it to when he's a younger man. Jawline. It makes all the difference in the world. Take care of yourself, guys. Don't let that jawline go. I'm never going to let go of talking about the jawline. People can say, Paul, you're always talking about the jawline. It's like, yeah, the jawline is pivotal. It's essential. Don't neglect the jawline. You want to maintain that jawline. I feel so sad when I see someone go middle-aged and it's like, I'm young, I'm cool, I'm hip. Look how hip he is up here wearing that 70s getup. Dude, what happened here? Lost my alignment. I hope it's a little easier to see today because I moved the TV, but I'll get a bigger one eventually. Promise. I'm evil. I don't know. You're hot. There's no doubt about that. I don't know who you are, and I don't like the pink hair. Everybody thinks... So, like, everybody jumps on the bandwagon with fads, and it's like, okay, you have pink hair, you're so hip, you're so cool. And it's not like I haven't ever done anything like that in the past where I jump on a fad to be cool. And this is Janis Joplin, and it says, my advice is everyone come to California and I'll buy you a drink. Well, if I could go back in time, I would take up that offer from her. And I would not be doing heroin with her, but I'd have the drink and I'd probably smoke weed just because I'm in California and I time traveled to see Janis Joplin. Who are we looking at here? I don't know who this lady is, but she is a pretty lady. I do like seeing the progression through time, and even as she got older here, you can see she maintained a lot of beauty. I have to dig up something of what's the name of the lady on Popeye with Robin Williams, the live action movie, and also The Shining. It's not Lily Tomlin. Well, now I'm going to drive myself crazy if I don't go and find out. So, The Shining cast. And so it'll just tell me right there. Shelley Duvall. Okay, because I saw an interview that was done recently with her, and she's not looking good, but she seemed to have a really sweet disposition for her age. She's gained a tremendous amount of weight, and she even is missing like a front tooth. And I thought, why wouldn't you like get that fixed? But she had a very nice disposition. Oh, yes. It's Coach from Cheers. And I remember this when I was going through this yesterday. Lovable guy, and it's just so interesting to see people when they're younger and how people change. I never get bored with these. And people are probably bored as shit, and no one cares about then and now, but it's the philosophical thread of life that this is what's happening to all of us. And it's worse for some, because look, this man kept his hair. I didn't keep my hair. I'm far younger than this man right here. I feel more youthful. I look more youthful, but I have no hair. That is wrong. Okay. I don't remember this woman's name, but she is the lady who played Edith on the TV show Archie Bunker back in the day. All in the Family is what it was. And it's another fascinating one. This one, the woman was very reputed as a very nice person. She was very loved in the industry. You never hear people saying anything bad about this woman, and I think it's because she came from a normal background, and she didn't have like stunning looks, but she had a really affectionate lovability about her, especially in this role with Archie. She was such a kind woman. So on to the next, my good people. Let's see. Let's zoom out on that really quick, okay? I will cut that out, and I will come back over here to my notes, and we'll come to the very next one. Guess what? It's more than and now, right? I did that then and now batch, and right now this is what we're doing. And so it's just this animation of Linda Hamilton from The Terminator, and she was so hot, but I'm still shocked at the very first image here of how old she's. No, that is like not a real picture, I think. But she's so beautiful as you go through this. You know what caused this woman to age, I bet you, is being married to James Cameron, a director of those exacting standards when he was younger, because as we know, he's gotten older and a lot of what he's done really sucks. And so interesting observation about Linda Hamilton in my life. I was introduced to her through the Terminator movies, the very first Terminator movie. I saw it way before I was old enough to see it. And of course she was bare-chested in that, and I was like, "Oh my god!" And she was doing it with Kyle Reese from the Terminator, who was the father of the dude who was supposed to be the leader of the future. What's his name? John Connor. That's John Connor. Okay, that's a very bad Arnold. Arnold Schwarzenegger says John Connor. Okay, so that's enough of that right now. Okay, is this gonna get better? I surely hope so. Over here, what is coming up next? What is coming up next is Michael Sartain about blowing up online. Oh, okay. Here we go. Let's move this over here and open that
Was
audio
like
up.
you've been blowing up on TikTok. Like a lot of your podcast stuff.
Yeah.
has like been showing up.
So what I tell people a lot of times is you need to repurpose everything. So my
Yes.
shorts are TikToks.
I'm
are
like
Reels,
taking
and you
this
can post them on
advice.
Twitter if you want. You can post them on Facebook if you want. The thing is, whenever I hear people like, "Oh, I don't want to take the time to make this short form 90-second content," I'm like, "There's 4 different big places you can put it. You should be doing it." Here's the
Yeah.
thing: when Instagram tells you that they start publishing or they start promoting Reels, what are they telling you? Well, we're a little insecure about TikTok. Okay, we'll take advantage of that. And the same thing like with Facebook. And then you'll notice that
Insecure. These other businesses, they're saying. So Facebook gets on the short clip bandwagon, and YouTube gets on the short clip bandwagon, and Instagram. And I've bemoaned in previous recordings here that I can't stand the short recordings because they make people have a short attention span, and I don't think that's good for humanity to have a short attention span. I see how it affects my own mind when I'm flicking through these things, and then I'm like, oh, I can't focus. It's no mystery why. That's why I like to read books. It's why I like to play guitar and stuff, because you like have to focus on what you're doing. And oh, here's a section of the song. This one's coming up. I have to remember to switch to that. It maintains focus with you, and I just think that social media is bad for that reason. But what I am thinking is to get more of an audience here, I'm like taking Michael's advice, and I'm gonna get on TikTok. Blah. But the whole thing is I'm all paranoid about TikTok. And they're like, why are you paranoid about TikTok? I keep hearing about how it's a Chinese company and they're stealing all your data and knowing. So I'm gonna have an entirely separate phone that is only to do TikTok. And that phone is going to be logged into an entirely separate Apple ID account just so that I can do TikTok. And that sounds like exorbitant, but it's not if I gain some followers through that. TikTok, there's a lot of good creative content on there, but I really don't like the nature of what it does to the attention span. I can't really say that enough. And so let's see what else he says, and then we'll move on to the next video.
And YouTube, if you start posting shorts, you'll see channels with nothing but shorts. And so the thing is, these platforms are telling you what they like about what TikTok is doing. And so because of that, then they're like, okay, that type of content is now what's shareable and viral. Yeah. And it's getting...
I understand the points he's making. I just have this personal gripe with the stupid shorts.
And shorter. It was Bilzerian who straight up told me, he's like, the reason why we took off on TikTok.
And here I am. I guess what I'm watching now would be considered a short, but it has a valuable purpose. And am I a hypocrite because I keep going from one thing to the other in this show, and I'm not getting super deep in anything? And by the way, I'm grifting like Godzilla in the manosphere now, I decided.
We do something in the first 3 seconds.
Yeah.
I had a clip this morning hit 1 million views, and it was just like, it was random.
That's
It just went
extraordinary.
viral, and it's just like, can we explain?
And on another clip,
viral? I don't know.
on another clip, dude, I distinctly heard you talking about this stuff, and what you said was that maybe TikTok doesn't really have that many followers. Like maybe it's all smoke and mirrors. Something about kids in LA having 20 million views on a video and they walk around like they're famous. But are those really views? Are those actually really views? I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude. Oh, no, that didn't work. That did not work like I thought it would because, oh, you know why? Because the location of my... So what if I go like this? I'm just testing really quick. Oh, yeah. So I can zoom in really fast on something when I have the arrow put in the right spot. Learning experience.
in the first 3 seconds, it catches your attention, and that's the reason why it worked.
Yeah. Way that I found.
Okay, so that's interesting, and I'm going to be getting on TikTok, but I certainly have grave misgivings about TikTok. Moving on. What do we have next? Is this... Okay, so this is Justin Waller on with Michael Sartain, and this is about something having to do with women. Okay, let's get the audio on here.
Place believe that women are less happy now than they've ever been, and I don't think it's going to get any better.
When you say bad, you mean girls calling themselves bad?
Girls
bitches.
that call themselves, I don't
Yeah,
need
for
no
sure.
man, blah,
For
blah,
sure.
blah,
Yeah,
blah.
I've seen that, yeah.
You know, and a lot of times girls
That's
will
a
say
pet
that
peeve for me.
until the right man walks in their life and they'll change.
I don't need no man. I mean, like the attitude, the irony of women in today's day and age. Okay, you know why? Because you hate men. You bemoan toxic masculinity, which is not masculinity. It's not toxic. It's just masculinity. So there's actually open bigotry toward men and masculinity, and then you act like men. You want to be independent like men. So that's ironic. You idolize the independence men have. You live and you pursue the independence, and then you dump all over men for toxic masculinity, which is not masculinity or not toxic at all. What is going on here? This is making me batshit crazy. Batshit crazy. Yeah. I'm not centered like I was the other day. What's going on, dude? I know that's so professional, right? It's one little thing after another. These cameras can easily be bumped, and then like the way they're set up can get all jacked up. Anyway, back to this clip. More, brother, more.
Whole tune.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very important for a young man, particularly a young man, in my opinion, to understand that there's no reason to be angry, but there's certainly a reason to flip on the lights and look at it for what it actually is, and always have that in your back pocket and an understanding, because it'll remind you when it's time to turn it on or not.
Turn it on, meaning
You know,
I think he's talking about building value. Men have to build value by becoming better people. You always have to become a better person. And not despair. If you despair, you're doing just the opposite. And not that I'm like someone who never despaired. I've certainly despaired.
Life, and especially with dealing with women.
I love that microphone, bro. Look at that. Real men use Shure SM7B, okay? Yeah. Okay. I like to tell myself that. We're at least equitable and equal along the lines of our gear, bro.
Career or whatever you need to do, or even looking in the mirror yourself, it's like, listen, I need to pick my up, or eventually she's going to lose respect for me.
Yeah.
When she loses respect, she's going to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember reviewing this yesterday and thinking, by all means, it's important to... I've been in relationships before, and I've had affection for women who, they made me work so damn hard to improve myself because I was smitten with them and I wanted to win them over. And I was in love with a girl when I was 19, and I went bananas. The way I got over that unrequited love was to learn playing guitar, and it really empowered me to feel better about myself at the time, because I realized I could do something that I didn't realize I could do. And then later on, not only did I get good at playing guitar, I started recording music to computers, and these real songs were coming together. And it was extraordinary how it made me feel. in that period of my life. It just really improved the overall quality of my life. And so at the end of that relationship, when I was brokenhearted, I just dove more into recording music and getting better at it and getting better at it. And over life, you go down this path of life, started recording music to an 8-track and then 16 tracks on a computer. And then I realized I can make show content, audio, radio-wise, that kind of format for the internet to put out on the internet. And it all went... So the guitar actually led me to here in one way or another. Learning piano as a little kid was part of what led me here. Being in choir as a little kid was just a step along the way. And I just think it's extraordinary when you realize all the myriad of ways you might not even realize how you're building value in life.
So it couldn't be more true. And unfortunately, guys don't want to face the truth.
Okay, so that was the end of that clip. Back out on that, okay? Here we are. We got one more clip, and it's of Rollo Tomassi, and I'm not... I'll have to watch this back to see if I like what I'm doing today, but I'm not especially fond of what I'm doing. In my head, I'm like, oh, dude, this is no good. It sucks. So the last clip is of Rollo, and I want to come over here.
Okay, Jed, just for reference sake, I think I've said this once before. I was on Fresh and Fit, and it wasn't. I think it might have been in 2021, actually.
Okay, Jedediah's name drives me crazy because I know the name Jebediah, but Jedediah drives me nuts. What was the deal with that inspiration of your parents giving you that name? I would like to know. Will you tell us, please? But she's hot, and I know I repeat the same things as I see certain people, but I know she trains in martial arts, and I know that you can't put a stop to me. But I seriously doubt it would ever come to that. Let's see what this nerdy-looking fellow on the right has to say. He's probably better than just a nerdy-looking fellow. And when you have the hair, you take the glasses off, man. Trust me, the hair is much... take the glasses off. I wear them because I'm blind. You? Why are you wearing them? Are you blind? Take the glasses off.
I was sitting next to this one girl, and the girl was 19 years old. And she did not look like she was 19. She looked like she might maybe mid-20s, but she had a lot of work done. She had a boob job. She had the implant or the collagen in the lips.
No, God,
she
no.
had the.
I always bring that up when I see women. Don't mess with your lips, ladies. So many ladies out there. You were blessed with perfection. What are you doing, going in and inflating your lips? Let me be the judge. Before you have it done, let me be the judge if you need to do anything with your lips. And most of the doctors who are just like doing it for the money and they don't give a crap about how you really feel. I care about how you feel. And I'll tell you straight up, work on yourself or get your lips inflated. I'll say work on yourself. Love yourself. That's so vital. That goes for everybody, men too. Like, I love myself even though I'm bald. Okay? It's important. Just trust me on this one.
I remember her specifically because she had like the bedazzled like little jewels over her eyes or whatever. And
7-minute clip.
I looked at her and she's
going to take me
kind of
far.
sexy. I looked at her and everything. And then she had mentioned at some point in the show that she was 19 years old and her body count was 15.
Oh.
At 19 years old, her body count was 15. Now, when she was...
And excuse me, I just want to bring this up. So we're talking about the 19-year-old who has the collagen lips and all the work done. And does the high body count result in lower self-esteem? And I think it does. I think it's been shown that women who are promiscuous have lower self-esteem, unlike men, where it's a whole different ball of wax, okay? No pun intended. Blech. Balls of wax. Never mind. So what I was going to say is, a result of her low self-esteem could be that she goes and gets all this work done on her face instead of working on herself and loving herself, and God knows, becoming less promiscuous. You go and get the shit done to your face, and you wind up like a disaster afterwards. And I can tell you that, and then she'll find Jesus later when she's around 30 years old, and she realizes, oh my God, like Rollo says, the party phase is over, and then you jump into the God phase, and you marry your beta buck guy, that you'll never be happy screwing. And anyway, on and on. I'm talking, and I will just let this video do the talking for me. I'm spaced out. I don't think I'm communicating very well today. What is up, dude?
The spot right there. She wasn't like, oh, well, she wasn't like super proud of herself, but she was just kind of like, man, it is what it is. And so when I saw that and I go, well, you know,
That's
she
low
was younger than my
self-esteem.
daughter. At that time, I believe she was about the same age as my niece. So I'm looking at that.
15.
There's a qualifiable
Dudes
difference
at
between the
19 years
woman
old.
sitting like to my left or right or wherever she was.
Okay, just
And,
to put
like,
into perspective,
the women-
how many men that is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, did you see how long it took to ding that? So that was to count to 15. And probably she screwed each of those guys several times. So, or yeah, maybe several of them many times. That's more sex by the time she turned 19 than I think I've had in my whole life. It's so easy for women to get some action. Oh, that would make 16, right?
I know in my life personally, such as my around that same age demographic, which is my daughter, my niece, other women who like follow me, whatever I work with as well. And I'm like, there's a qualifiable difference between these two. However, is the mentality and the perception the same, and she just acts on it, or is it something that women are really good at keeping a secret of?
Oh, I think it's a secret. I definitely don't think a lot of women divulge what they do. I think guys do things that they're not proud of that they don't divulge along the way in life. And every one of you men watching right now, you know who you are. You know what you've done. It was just you and God seeing that moment and the other person you did something with. Back to our main scheduled program here. Regularly scheduled program.
They don't want to believe that the chick sitting next to them could have done, you know, a 4-way for OnlyFans, or could have done, you know, formerly did porn, right? Or was
you don't want to believe
ran through by a guy.
Do not what is it? Sanctify when you make someone saintly. Nobody's a saint in my view. Even the saints are probably not saints. Even the saints are sinners. That sounds like Saints or Sinners is a good album cover, or a name for a band. Sinner Saints.
They don't want to believe that is possible. And so they don't want to think the word, like, again, it's sort of like the women is wonderful psychological dynamic, but I think that there's sort of this, they have to suspend disbelief, and they don't want to, especially when suspending that disbelief is not in the interests of their sexual strategy.
I mean, if you're in double digits at that age, there's a problem.
Yes.
You know,
That's
so
just
when
not
you
the
say
case. That's not, but that's
they're saying it, so then maybe they're lying.
No. I'm not saying that they're not telling the
Are
truth.
we going to take this nerd's word for it? No offense, dude. I don't know who you are. It's just that I'm doing my teenage thing where I'm picking on you for being a nerd, Mr. Eyeglasses. I wear them because I'm 49 years old and I'm blind as AF. Why the hell are you wearing glasses? Yeah, this is just my ad hominem attack against a guy making probably a valid point. Let's hear what he has to say, and I will acknowledge if you are right. But you look nerdy, dude. The hair is nerdy. The glasses, get a different frame. Come on, dude. Punk rock it up a little bit. Jeez.
Individuals are going to have their own experiences, and yes, I'm sure there are
Let me
plenty.
just
Even your
finish this,
voice a
though, and
little
you can
bit.
get back to the stats on
Even
this,
your
but I
voice
wanna say,
sounds
'cause
like you've been eating a soy diet, and when you get in the shower, you guzzle down a gallon or a pint of soy. And okay,
mentioned a few things. I don't want to lose. You talked about, you know,
See, Jedediah sounds more like a man than yeah. Whenever I walk up to a man expecting to hear a macho voice, and it's like,
hey, how are you?
I'm expecting to be like, hey, how's it going, dude? What's up? And then you hear like,
Hey, hi, how are you?
I just noticed that. It's like, it seems like it's an epidemic.
Hey, guys are like this. I have a soy voice.
Sorry, man. I don't know you, and I haven't even gotten to the point you're making. I'm just diving all over it with nonsense. I realize it's ridiculous.
bit talking about how they're run through, you know, they're damaged. That is a reality. They are.
Yeah.
A lot of those women are
Tell me more.
Deeply damaged.
Okay, so this is the myth of the damaged girl. This is damage control. I have
some things I want to say about this.
a post on my blog. This is not in any of my books, Damaged goods. That's what it is. Damage. Whenever you say a woman is damaged, that's cope. That is a cope right there. I'm not saying that they aren't. I'm saying people too readily default to using the say she's damaged. She has daddy issues. That's cope. Okay. You don't know anything about that chick. Maybe she enjoys doing what she's doing.
Yes.
The reason why I say that is because
it's interesting you're making this point, because when I was like in my last year of college and I had a philosophy seminar, we were having a discussion about women in porn, and the teacher at the time was a female professor, very brilliant, Professor Jane Neller from Colorado State University. I doubt she remembers me. And I don't know. I know she knew distinctly who I was at the time, but I don't know if she would recognize me or anything. I do think I did stand out in that environment. But the discussion we were having was about how I was making the case, like Rollo said, that there are some women who they probably do enjoy doing porn. And are they happy? They might be. They might just be wired differently, and it doesn't bother their conscience as much. But this teacher could not accept that a woman would do that who wasn't like damaged or messed up in the head. But I do think it's the relativity of who people are. Of course, there are instances where someone's damaged, and that's why they get into what is predominantly an abusive way of life. Doing porn is, some women have so much self-respect, they'd never get into anything like that. They wouldn't even go on Fresh and Fit because they have a certain kind of idea of self-respect. But as far as doing porno, there are women who do it and like it. Oh, and you know what? I've seen pornography, of course, in the past. And it was in the past because it's not right now. And I'm not going to tell you when it was or when it was last. I know that my life has changed, and I've done a great job moving away from it because I don't think it's healthy. But what I was going to say is, what the hell was I going to say about pornography? Oh, my God. It was really interesting, and I'm forgetting the thread that I was talking about. We were talking about pornography and women being happy doing pornography. And, okay, I forgot. So I'm going to just go back to this for now. How lame I forgot. That's what notes are for.
Something like the AVN, or when I'm talking to Sterling Cooper, who knows women who are in the porn industry. They're not all strung out on cocaine. They're not all, being pimped out because they're hooked on heroin or something like that. And that's the only way they can get their fix. Strippers in the strip club, they're not there.
Crazy world.
They're all earning their degrees, right? They're all paying their way through college, right? OnlyFans. Women, when they get on OnlyFans, they're not on there because I hate every minute of it. Are you fucking kidding me?
You wouldn't do it if you hated it.
They love it. They would not be, if it was torture, they would not be doing it. They love the attention.
However, there are the subset of women who get trapped into that, and drugs are rampant in the industry. So like you have to question that, whether the heavy drug use is causing them to make decisions that a sober person who's acting more mature would never do. They could be making those decisions and later in life regret it amazingly, enormously. There's a little more depth to this conversation, I think, than Rollo is having with it here. I mean, me as well, because I keep picking on the nerdy guy with the glasses, and so I get sidetracked into superficiality, but I definitely think there's more depth to it than what Rollo's saying here, although he's making good points. I concede.
They're not, quote unquote, damaged. Now, could they be a little bit whack? Could that environment and their choice of lifestyle influence the way that they perceive the world? Absolutely. Yeah. But that doesn't mean they're fucking damaged or they have some sort of personality disorder or that they're only there and they only behave in that way because they're insane. She's insane. No, they do that because they are incentivized to seek attention. They are incentivized to be sexy because that
incentivized, but that doesn't mean that they're making the right. They could be making unwise choices. They could enjoy it. I have done a lot of things when I was younger that were not the wise choices, the things I should have done. I enjoyed them, and I look back on it now and think that wasn't the right thing to do. So, but you're not talking about regret and looking at the past. Hindsight is always 20/20.
When women are at their most powerful, sex is women's first primary agency. In some cases, it's their only agency. For the most women, Sexuality is
You have certain cultures where there is no sexual agency because they're forced to cover up 100% in beekeeper suits. So, a lot of Muslim women wearing the burqa have like zero sexual agency, and that's the point, is like to just erase their sexual agency. And that gets to, is sexual agency always empowerment?
only a real agency in this world.
I said it on a recent recording, like standing on the bar, being a whore is not empowering. Just because you can doesn't mean it's empowering. Just because you can doesn't mean it's morally virtuous. And I think people, and especially a lot of like looser women, tie those things together. Like, I'm empowered. Men can do it. Again, with wanting to have the freedom of men. But things evolved the way they evolved for a certain reason.
You've heard me say this, but you've probably seen my hashtag. They always get naked.
Yeah.
And guys will throw, and you can keep sending me these if you want, but like they'll show me like feminist protesters in Argentina, and they're just like, free the nipple, whatever it is. And they always get naked. And the reason why they always get naked is because women on a fundamental psychological, some level of consciousness, they understand that sexuality is their only agency. If you want,
it's not their only agency, though. There are respectable women who we can take seriously. And I know he knows that. Even Jedediah, she's not somebody. Is this what you're talking about, by the way? We're talking about extremes where women get naked and stuff. But is the feminine expression with long hair and makeup and showing the sleeves like that, is that all a degree of sexual agency right there? Because some women go the fully masculine look and they abandon all of that, the way they present themselves.
If women want attention, if they want people to pay attention to them and listen to what they have to say, they will shuck all their...
Would you be putting Jedediah on your show if she were completely short-haired, no makeup, in jeans and a t-shirt that did not show her body? Does that sexual agency that she has, the little bit of the degree that she shows there, would that change your mind at all about having her on your show or even interacting with her if she didn't have that look? I'm just asking. I'm not accusing of anything. I'm just saying, how much does it influence? Because I see this guy, and I'm like attracted to her, and I'm not saying that in a crass way. So then I see this guy, and I'm like, nerd, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. It should be me there. I have more enlightening things to say, and I have more personality and more entertainment to provide the crowd than Soy Boy here.
Clothes off and run around naked in a riot like they did in 2020 in Portland. And I have some white knight there to defending her honor, right? While she's just gallivanting around like Lady Godiva in the middle of some Portland, Oregon, Antifa riot. Why is that the default? Why is that? Oh, we want to be able to take our clothes off.
You get attention by being naked. They wouldn't get noticed if they weren't naked. So that's the agency you're talking about. It's not respectable to like exercise that agency necessarily. Maybe there's a context in which that's a good thing to do that brings attention to a certain kind of topic. And I'm not going to say what it is because you say they always get naked. They get naked superficially for anything to get the attention. But I'm saying, is there ever a point in time when that sexual agency where they get naked is useful for anything along the way?
Reason is because that is women's only agency.
It's not the only agency they have, but it is powerful. So you say they always get naked, but I just pointed out other feminine characteristics of Jedediah here, okay? Her hair, her makeup, and the way she's dressing here, showing these shoulders, that would be taboo in certain cultures and stuff. So like, what's the deal? It's a degree of sexual agency the way anyone... it's sexual agency the way you dress as a masculine guy with the hat and looking cool. You got the cool vibe going on. That's a form of sexual agency, even though it's not as compelling as when a woman does what a woman does when they're going to like woo a man with their sexual agency. To feel empowered by being super loose.
Women want to be heard. They take their clothes off. That's the default. Let's see, Rollo, when I think damage, I usually associate it with her.
But we can't dismiss the fact that even though a woman enjoys it, sometimes it's a byproduct of being damaged, or they don't even realize they're doing damage to themselves, or they haven't had the requisite self-respect built up in life not to do something that they don't yet realize might not be in their best interest to do. So yeah, they enjoy it. People enjoy getting drunk as hell. They don't realize down the road when they become an alcoholic that they were making the wrong choice. Your agency to drink, your agency to express yourself sexually, your agency to do anything fun, your agency to play football and eventually get concussions that wind up causing you emotional distress, and then your lifespan is you die in your 50s. You know what I mean? Damaged, doing the wrong thing, or incentivized, like you said, taking a $20 million contract to play on a football team. Am I making any sense here with the points I'm making? I think I am. Whatever.
Increased likelihood of being an alpha widow. True. But
I have more idiosyncratic performance art in my approach. There's no doubt about it. Some people will be like, oh, fuck, this guy is annoying. I get it. But it's what I want to be. That's how I express myself in my environment. This is my platform. I say whatever TF I want.
Damaged. Because are all women
Damaged.
Maybe this is a good question. Thank you for that question. Here, I'll give you this, in fact.
Tell me.
That. Are all women who are alpha widows, are they damaged? Damaged by licking the ice cream. And by the way, if you want me to explain what licking the ice cream is, just go look at the freaking video. Please go look at the video. It's a Hafizism. It's the ice cream store. Ice cream are the...
If Rollo's doing what I do sometimes, using big words, like explain what the hell you're talking about. Don't expect the layman who've never heard your terminology before just to automatically know it. I don't even know how to spell what you just said to go and look up the meaning of it. So explain it to me now. If you're going to use such a pompous, huge word. Rollo, do it now. Rollo, Rollo, Rollo. I gotta get it right. Rollo, like rolling a joint. Roll, 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 roll. Stupid English language. Phonetic, stupid English language. If you know it in Italian, you can read it and know how to pronounce it. And I should know because I've studied that language too. Why are you pretending to be Italian? You're not Italian.
And the players get to go in the ice cream store
Just
and they
a little
sample
bent out
all
of
the
shape.
ice cream. And so when you get to go to the ice cream store, it's already licked. And you don't want nasty pre-licked ice cream. That's what that's about. In a nutshell. But you can go. I did a full episode. Go look at it.
I get.
Are
it's
all
like
women
the
who
whole
are
episode. I'm just talking, and then it elevates and I escalate, and I'm like, I'm not being interesting enough. I gotta go more crazy, and then it just escalates, and it's like exposition, and then it finally winds up with me going bananas at something someone is saying like that. Rollo using big words. You and your big words.
widows, are they all damaged? I would argue not.
Not that I never do that as a very well-read person. I have a big vocabulary myself, but I do try to take into consideration some people who might not know what the hell I'm saying. I don't go to the oh, never mind. I don't want to say that. I don't want to offend anyone on that.
What is men's agency?
So, the only point of this guy here today, Mr. Nerdy Glasses, you know what? Your only redeeming quality was to inspire me, because in this whole discussion, you had nothing to contribute to it. I heard nothing from you, Mr. Nerdy Glasses. Okay? You look like a young Igor from Ghostbusters. Is it Harold Ramis? Yeah, dude. Only not as funny. Get with it, man. Come on. If you're going to go on podcasts, get with it. You need a fashion consultant. You need some better frames. So do I. And you take your hair for granted, your hair and youth for granted. And you talk like this. Lower your voice. You need testosterone injections. If anyone needs them, it's you. I'm out of my mind right now. Shit, where did this all come from?
That's the beauty of it. It's like men don't have agency. You're born without agency. You create
I'm just saying,
your own fucking agency.
You're right. We're born without it, and you create it, and you wear this cool hat, and you have the headphones, and you have a cool podcast that you have a lot of people listening to it. That's the agency you're talking about that you created. Because I have no audience, and you don't give a horse's ass shit what I'm saying, and you won't ever validate me unless I get really big and you're like, I can get something out of this now. And then your value. So I'm like trying to take value from you, obviously. That's what you mean by grifting. Valid. But I'm really into this discussion, and I'm really into being silly, and it's what I want to do. So what are you going to do about it, yo?
Maybe it's your muscles.
Wrapping
maybe it's
this
your
up,
game. Maybe it's
'cause
your
we've gone
money.
too
Maybe
long.
whatever it is.
This is a long
your
one
power,
today.
your control, your let's see.
I'm here trying to establish agency. That's what I'm here trying to do, and I'm trying to siphon it off of you, just like when you have Ryan on this last weekend, and it's like, dude, you're not trying to take something from him. He has something established. He has value established. So there's this mutual taking of value. But since I have way less value, there's more like, criticism. And just like I'm picking on this guy with the nerdy glasses here, maybe that's to detract from the fact that I have not the same value established as a Rollo Tomassi. I'm not as big as Rollo. I'm not as cool as Rollo. Oh, your highness, your royal highness in the manosphere. You're the king of the manosphere. Oh, sir, you are number one. It's good to be the king, is it not? It is. It is.
There's
what do we have to do to become the
agency
king?
versus hyper agency? Hypo agency.
Yo, whoa. You say men have to establish their agency, but what about when they're the king and they are born with that agency already? You know what I'm saying? The king is born with agency. That's an exception to what you just said. I'm just telling you. Prince Charles was born with his agency, and he's the biggest freaking nerd in the world. He'd probably be a blue-collar worker in a factory somewhere, except that he was born king. And he gets access to all of the education and privilege that the king does. And so I'm just establishing that there are people like in royal families, wealthy families, they are born with that agency in virtue of their generational wealth. And it's not racism. That's not what I'm calling it. And I'm not even going to call it privilege. It's like a blessing to be born into that in this cosmic lottery of life. Okay? Infinity. The likelihood of you being born is so close to zero, and bam, here you are. And then it's like women in their agency that they feel empowered. It's like after you win the lotto, mommy was just fucking around and she doesn't want to keep you. Abortion time. I know. I'm off the rocker right now. It was just exposition all hour long. It was like, I'm starting out slow, and then I'm like all of a sudden getting crazier the longer I go. It's like my brain is woken up now. I've done it. Yes, I've done it. If you like this, I appreciate you liking the video. I appreciate people commenting on the video. Engage with me. Share it. Follow on social media. Help me by building this. I want to find my crew, my people, my tribe, and I want to make this, I want to build that value, and I want to build my agency so that eventually I can be like, hey, Rollo. I got it right that time. Rollo. We need to talk someday, and I'm sure I'm not established enough for you to grace me with your presence here, but I will, I swear, have you, and I'll put you up on that screen one day if you're willing to come and talk to me, and I'll have a civilized discussion with you. I won't be quite as crazy as I am right now. And so I'm going to start up this ending music and say, once again, please subscribe to the show. Like it. Like the video. Share the videos. Tell your friends about it. If you think I'm funny, check out the Clips channel too. There will be more stuff posting there. If you subscribe there, you can get a smaller bite-sized taste. I will be posting shorter clips to other social media places. And if you like me and my nerdy glasses,
at least I don't talk like this. I'm like, dude, okay? I talk like this because I'm a soy boy. I pretty much suck at the tit of soy. I suck the tit of soy. Do you like my soy? I like my soy. Yeah, me and my nerdy glasses.
that guy contributed nothing. Sayonara. Peace be with you all. And I mean that when I say that, even though I'm crazy and over the top. Peace.